Why was it bad when Sergeant Rock told Easy Company that they could fire at will?
Well, it sucks if your name is Will.
Exactly! Poor Will!
The greatest DC Comics show on YouTube. Fanboys Live and the Retro Review.
Welcome to Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday night with us. We're going to have a great show tonight and just chat it up and see what happens. How have you been, Signature King?
Today was busy, but overall a productive weekend.
Have you been comic book hunting or
just picked up
online
my weekly issues? Nothing really extreme, other than the Static joining the New Titans.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. I think that was the big release this week. Other than that, nothing extreme.
You know what was big for us recently? Well, this past week, the Absolute Green Arrow, that sold out for us. And we was it Solomon Grundy? Yeah, it was Solomon Grundy. And then also recently, that first issue of Batman and Robin Dynamic Duos, that did. Everyone wanted that.
Why? Was it a key?
No, it's the first issue. It's kind of like year one stories, and I think everyone liked the last one. So, yeah. Gotcha. We have a few exciting things to talk about today.
A couple.
Yeah. Should we start with, I guess, the one that got us to yell?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks to all of you, Fanboys Live and the Retro Review is nominated for the Comic Book Community Awards, the CBCAs. We are nominated for Best Live Stream in Tier 3. And where were you when you found out this news that we got nominated?
I was on a plane in Hawaii. No, I'm just.
Oh, you were.
We were here. We were backstage. We were having a little bit of watch party, if you call it that.
Yeah. So we didn't broadcast it, but Silver Hair, Bronze Age Babe, yourself, and me did a watch party to see when the nominations got accepted. We didn't know ahead of time, and we certainly were happy, weren't we?
Yeah. So now, theoretically, if we were to win and move forward, we got to dress up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We got to dress up. I thought about picking up a gold crown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I'll get you a bow tie for this shirt.
There you go. Get a tuxedo t-shirt. Those seem to be very popular.
Yeah. So, incidentally, September 19th is the cutoff point, and you can vote. We are top 5 finalists, and you can make us the winner by casting a vote. And I did leave a link in the video description for this, so you can go and vote for your favorites at the CBCA Awards. But wait, there were more nominations. Congratulations to Magic Lasso. Oh, wait, that's me. Nominated also in Tier 3 for Best Show for my Lassoed Loot video. That's the pre-recorded video that I drop on Tuesday afternoons where I talk about my collection. And I like to talk about what happens in the comic books and why I wanted them in my collection too. And thank you for making that a top 5 finalist for this year's awards. And then at the very end, the last name said in the entire stream, Signature King nominated for Hall of Fame. What did your family say when you said, hey, I'm a nominee for the Hall of Fame?
They were slightly confused, but very supportive. I don't think they really understand what was happening, but that's okay. They're not as into this hobby and community as we are, but it was a lot of fun. What's interesting is the people I wanted to vote for or did vote for and wanted to see them in didn't make the cut, but for some reason
you did.
I did. And I did. Well, I didn't even vote for myself because it was like, who does that? Who votes for themselves? But now I have to.
Yes, and I'm voting for you too. And I encourage everyone to vote for Signature King for Hall of Fame, vote for Lassoed Loot for Tier 3 Best Show, and Tier 3 Best Live Stream, this show, Fanboys Live, the Retro Review. Once again, you have till September 19th. The link is in the description for this video. Anything else you want to say about the CBCAs?
No, it's just it's a fun little thing we do in the community. So there's lots of people that are deserving of various categories.
Absolutely.
So, we appreciate your vote, but just make sure you're voting for other people as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who make some great content.
For sure.
That are nominated. So I can't say to vote for one over the other because a lot of people in the community are friends of ours, friends of
Mhm.
the show. So I don't want to be playing favorites. Vote for Bob instead of John. I think it's fine. But oh, there it is.
You heard it. You heard it right there. John's Comics
Yeah.
with Friends. Thank you for jumping in. And very first into our live chat, a meow to the Jackson Roy Kirk. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, you guys, for popping in. If you're watching on the rewind, thank you as well for being here. John got some nominations as well, so
I think
congratulations
he got
to
two.
him.
Was it two he got?
No, I think he got 3.
3. I know
Yeah.
it was more than one. I couldn't remember if it was
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Well, I was a little surprised that nobody congratulated me on my 3rd nomination. They talked
What's
about the
your
other
one?
2, but they didn't talk about my 3rd one,
Which
the Hall of Shame.
Hall of Shame.
Yes.
I did
Yeah.
not see that nomination.
Yes, I'm part of the Hall of Shame.
John, you should have been backstage with us. You would have gotten a kick out of it. We're watching the award shows. It happens, and then once they nominated the Fanboys, it was like like we just won. The Super Bowl. It was really fun, and then we saw Lasso get nominated for Lassoed Loot. That was pretty cool. And then right at the end, I got a Hall of Fame nomination, which is wonderful. But I had to point out, like, the people that I voted for Hall of Fame weren't in it. But for some reason, I got it.
Yep.
I thought that was just pretty funny.
It was. I want to say hi to Olivia Miller, who's with us this week. Thank you so much. It is a wonderful day. Yay. So.
Sounds like John didn't even watch the show.
Yeah, I texted him and said, you got 3 nominations. That's awesome. So, yeah. Other big news that we want to talk about. What did you watch last Sunday when Fanboys was done?
I watched Lanterns. I'm not going to talk spoilers. It's still fairly recent. I
liked it more than you did.
You did. I didn't. It's not that I didn't like it. The end of episode 1, I was like, "Come on, like really?" It drives me nuts when DC does that. It drives me absolutely bonkers because it's not just this particular character they do it to. Although this character does get a lot, they do it to everybody, and it's so stupid why they do it. I hate it.
I want to say hi real quick, and then we'll talk more Lanterns.
Sure.
Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe is in the chat. She did not get Best Beard, but she'll grow it out a little more, and we'll see what will happen next year.
Yeah, right. Work on it.
But it did very well. Like the Rotten Tomatoes score for Lanterns was really good.
Not only did it do really well in terms of the critics, but in terms of other superhero shows, it beat every single superhero TV show, including all the Marvel ones, except Loki season 2.
Yeah.
Loki season 2 got was it 2 million more views? But yeah, Lanterns beat all of them, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty good. So huge home run for DC and James Gunn, which I really wanted this to happen. I wanted Lanterns to do well, just because Supergirl didn't do particularly well, and I want the DC universe to continue to move forward. And so I think this is really going to put some wind in the DC sails.
Okay, we will see. Once again, too, in the category of you can't please everybody, I have run into people in the last week that hated it.
I didn't hate it. I have a sneaking suspicion of what's going to happen. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm still going to continue to watch every Sunday. So no problem for me.
Yeah.
Just annoying.
Yeah. What else is going on news-wise?
Speaking of Lanterns, they are getting a comic book cover. And it's not like a tie-in. It's just a cover of Kyle Chandler and I can never remember the guy who plays Jon Stewart. And his name escapes me, but I'll pop it up here if you want to take a look. I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay.
Let's see. It's one of these screens. Let's go with this one.
That's cool.
Cool. Yeah, Justice League Unlimited number 23.
Are you going to get it?
That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I probably get it. Just in the off chance they do a signing.
Mhm.
Just in the off chance they do a signing. I think there's more covers too. Yeah, here we go. That's supposed to be Jon Stewart from the Lanterns TV show. And there is a couple other ones here. I don't know why they didn't show them all, but I think this is pretty cool. I'll definitely be getting this one.
Okay, nice.
I don't recall a launch date though, so stand by.
Okay.
That's fun.
I do. I've been a fan of hers since Infinity Inc.
Not that I dislike Jade. It's just a lantern that just kind of exists for me. Not my favorite, not my least favorite by any means. Just kind of there. But yeah, I like all the lanterns, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Some I like more than others.
What else is going on news-wise?
I have another article here. As soon as I can get back to it. Or not. Oh, there we go. Too far back. Yeah, Lanterns is coming out tonight, 9 Eastern, I think. Vixen, Absolute Vixen is coming, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know a whole lot.
Okay.
Don't know a lot about her character in terms of backstory and how she's going to be different from Vixen of the standard DC universe, but I guess we'll find out. Stephanie Williams behind the pen on that one.
Is she getting her own book, or is she just appearing in someone else's?
That's a good question. Stephanie Williams, Vixen. I don't know. Animal Man and Swamp Thing are set to appear as well, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
So I'll take it. So looking forward to that.
So you know how I like to talk about when they announce the facsimiles for upcoming months.
Yep.
And there's going to be 7 facsimiles DC Comics is going to release in December. We'll start out by talking about Watchmen, because they're doing a continuation of the Watchmen's. So the Watchmen facsimile for issue 3 will be coming out in December. Actually, November. I'm sorry, November 25th. We are also getting Green Lantern issue 50 as a facsimile. Remember that cover?
I do. I have it.
Okay. That is scheduled for November 25th. And November 4th, Batman 497, someone's back is going to get broken.
That looks painful.
That does. And in addition, I want to share with you right now the superpowers variants. You know how they did the Toy Otter superpower variants? Yep. I want to show those covers have been shared as well. So let's look at those before we go on with the rest of the facsimiles. So there is the Bane one.
Oh, yeah, those are cool. I like the teddy bear. That's really random.
Yeah, it's the little teddy bear on there with Power Action Venom Break. And then we get Parallax.
They just need to make these a real toy line.
Some of them, not all of them, but some of them have become toys because of the covers.
Yeah. I like them all, though.
Yes. So now I want to share the facsimile that I am super excited for. And I do mean the word super. This is coming out November 11th. I was almost going to buy an original of this, but now it's coming out as a facsimile. I might just be happy with that. Superman issue 199, which of course we retro reviewed.
We did.
That was the very first Superman and Flash race. So I thought that was a cool choice for a facsimile.
I like it.
Let's see. What else do we have announced for facsimiles? We have, share this. Kingdom Come issue 4.
Classic.
Facsimile. That's coming in December. And that's December 2nd. That's been announced. Yes, definitely a classic. And let's see what else we have. Oh,
Go ahead. Sorry.
this is. Do you know what World's Finest issue 153? Why that's a key?
No, it escapes me.
That's coming out as a facsimile. Let me show you the cover, and you tell me if the cover gives it away to you. Okay?
Okay.
How about that? Does that
Yes.
help?
Yep.
Okay. What is it a key for?
Isn't this the first fight between Batman and Superman?
No.
Oh, well, then maybe I don't know.
Do you know that famous meme where Batman is slapping Robin?
Ah, okay.
It's from this issue. So this is getting a
Gotcha.
facsimile on November 4th. You recognize that panel?
Yeah. Slap, 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 slap.
Yep. And the Joker's 1950 origin from Detective Comics 168. That is going to get a facsimile as well. And there is the cover for that.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, that's going to be November 18th. Did you have another news story? Because I've got a few more to share.
No, go ahead. I'll wrap things up.
I am so super excited about this. DC has decided, you remember limited collector's edition, the big treasuries that they used to do in the 1970s?
Oh, yeah.
They are bringing back the line of limited collector's edition, and they're going to continue the numbering where they left off. So the very first one is going to be, the first one back, I should say, is limited collector's edition number 64, which will be coming out on November 18th. It is going to include the first 3 issues of George Perez's Wonder Woman, all in one big treasury. Now, the advertisements won't be in there, so it's not a true facsimile. They also, cover art hasn't been revealed, but it said that it's going to be modeled after the way that the facsimiles used to look back in the day. So I don't know if that means diorama or not. If it does, we know who has got a pair of scissors ready. Yes. So that, yeah, that really, that was like on my wish list. Then we're going to get a storyline that's going to begin in Action Comics 1104. That's going to be called, and I think this is kind of cool, Lex Luthor Year 1. You know, we get the superheroes, but how often do we get like a big important villain? And there's a nice homage image there.
Yeah.
So is that Eagly? I wonder, is that Eagly?
That would be cool.
Yeah. So that story arc, which I think is going to be 4 issues, starts November 11th as well with Action Comics issue 1104. Yeah. Oh, you know what? There's some more covers that I can share. This is going to be the main cover. Check this out.
Okay, who's that supposed to be?
That's Lex Luthor, a young Lex Luthor.
Oh, young Lex Luthor. Okay.
Yeah. Then we got this one.
That's cool.
Yeah, and another one.
I like it.
And that's it.
When did you say that comes out?
November 11th.
November 11th.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Alan, who's with us, and congratulations on your CBCA nomination. Yeah, original stories would be nice, but I'm telling you, at least with that Perez artwork in that big treasury size format, that makes me so excited. Oh, she knows, she's thinking about dioramas. Well, it's a good thing that we didn't forget it was Sunday, Alan. That's a good thing.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and Olivia's saying when we're talking about TV and movies, yeah, DC does seem to do a little bit better.
Yeah, they do. Not that Marvel does bad TV shows. I just think Marvel doesn't have a real good history of TV shows. You know, they only really started, you know, in the MCU. Yeah, they have like the kids' Saturday morning stuff. It doesn't really count.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I have for news. I'm seeing rumors floating around, but I don't even know. At this point, it just frustrates me so much. They're going, Henry Cavill is back as Superman again. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman again. I'm so over all of that. I am just
Yeah.
over. If you don't know, zip it.
Don't get me wrong. That would be kind of cool. Maybe they'll do some kind of multiversal thing. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, but I don't know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So-
Definitely go out there and vote. One last thing I want to touch on. The TV show, The People versus Gorilla Grodd. I'll tell you what, I am not excited for the show at all.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it just because I like DC. But I don't have a lot of hope for this one. It's supposed to be like the Office, the fake documentary, what they call it, the mockumentary. And it's supposed to be a comedy about Gorilla Grodd. Like, I could do without. It's okay. You have Supergirl. It is what it is. Technically, it was a flop. You have Lanterns, which is killing it right now, and then you're gonna have People versus Gorilla Grodd, and I can't see that being any kind of successful. Lois Lane, what was her name? Rachel Brosnahan, not returning to reprise her role as Lois. Because I think she's going to be filming more scenes for Man of Tomorrow while this is happening, which is stupid. That's her thing. You know what I mean? She might make a cameo. You know what I mean? That's very possible, but she's not listed as a series regular. And same thing with Clark Kent, not listed as a series regular. I don't know. I can't get excited for it. I forget who they announced for Gorilla Grodd, but it was some unknown, and I'm okay with unknown actors and voice actors. Believe me, I am 100% okay, but it's hard to get excited when you don't really know someone's work. They might home run it out of the park, and this might be the greatest thing to ever come out of DC. But some of the memes floating around with this show are hilarious. One of them I saw was James Gunn in front of DC Studios, and DC says, "Hey, Supergirl was kind of a flop. James Gunn, what's your next move?" James Gunn would say, "How about a show with even less popular characters?" And DC's like, "Do it." If I was someone at DC, I would say, "Listen, James Gunn, I know you're kind of known for lesser characters. That's great, but let's get to the main course here. I'm sick of the hors d'oeuvres. Give me a real Justice League bite." You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me. We'll have 2 Superman movies without one single Wonder Woman or Batman or Flash or whatever. I don't know. I'm ready. I've been ready. Let's do it. Let's make this happen. But that's a whole nother story. That's probably got a lot to do with the DC Paramount or Warner Brother Paramount merger. So we'll find out.
Okay. Anything else news-wise? Otherwise, we'll segue over into our retro review.
No, that about wraps it up.
Okay. If you don't mind sharing
Sure.
the assist. We'll look at the cover first before we start talking about tonight's retro review. So it is Our Army at War, issue 280. And this is the 200th issue with Sergeant Rock in it. So it was like they did an extra giant issue to celebrate this. And if you want to go into the first page, which we got a couple pages of advertisements, I'll talk about why I picked this tonight. And normally war comics aren't my thing, but war comics are an important part of DC Comics that we don't really cover or touch base on a whole lot. And this character definitely deserves to be featured. And that's why I thought tonight we would feature Sergeant Rock, and we're going to do this issue. There's 4 different Sergeant Rock stories in this issue. So we're going to do all 4 stories. 2 are full length and 2 are mini, including a reprint, one of the mini stories of his very first appearance, which we'll be getting to. But as for right now, by the way, that's Joe Kubert on the cover art, and Joe Kubert was the editor of this book as well. Mercy Mission is the name of the first story, and I'll get us kicked off tonight with our retro review. So we have Sergeant Rock, and he is with his guys, the Easy Company. And they are talking about the fact that they've just entered into Germany. And he has Bulldozer of the Easy Company take over the rest of the story because he's taken Little Sure Shot and Four Eyes on a retcon. So Bulldozer talks about, hey, this might look easy, but it would be nice if it actually was easy for once. They have literally walked through North Africa, Italy, and France, and they're still walking, and they're in Germany. They got calluses on their feet. They look up ahead and they see smoke up ahead, and a friendly tribe is spelling out time for chow, or at least that's what he hopes it is because he's hungry. And they say, you know, Four Eyes, if you really want to learn to read smoke, I'm going to teach you. And then we go into this great 2-page spread. And I will tell you, Tony, that after this 2-page spread, they give us both pages individually. So you can skip, after I get done with this 2-page spread, you can skip ahead 2 pages.
Gotcha.
So they've just gotten into Germany, and where there's smoke signals, they all of a sudden see a tank that's there. And they're like, hey, the German soldiers could be inside this tank. And then all of a sudden they tell Sergeant Rock to duck because shots start to get fired. And no one's in the tank, but the German soldiers are instead are hidden all around the tank on the outside. And then if I can catch up to where our stream is. Okay, so we've got all the shots firing back and forth from both sides as they're standing in the middle of this target range, essentially. And people from both sides are getting hit. And then all of a sudden, a grenade is launched against the German, and that takes a lot of them out. And it looks like they're kind of in the clear, at least for a moment. And Sergeant Rock says, you know, war is just a bloody butcher shop. And they're checking to make sure Sergeant Rock's okay. He wants to know where Four Eyes is. Was he nailed? And he's got not a life-threatening wound, but he got grazed in his leg. So Sergeant Rock says, take him back to Battalion Aid, Little Sure Shot, and no backtalk, Four Eyes. This is an order. But he says, you know, Sarge, I'm fit. I can do this. You know, he's like, yeah, just as fit as a busted fiddle. So as Sergeant Rock goes and starts to walk away, at the bottom of the page, you see a hand that reaches up. He turns around and he's getting ready to shoot this German soldier that's laying there. But what the German soldier is saying, don't shoot, don't shoot. He says, instead, he's holding up this doll. And he says, it's only a doll for my little girl. And Sergeant Rock is kind of confused on a doll. He's like, please bring the doll to this little, to this farmhouse on a hill about 3 miles away, heading west. So Sergeant Rock takes the doll, kind of a little reluctantly, but he realizes that this is one, you can go to the next page, that this is one for the books, a doll from a man that I had to kill. He's like, this is a crazy war. And he's like, I'm going to deliver the doll to your kid. And that German soldier passes away. And Sergeant Rock starts heading towards the west, and he is looking for that farmhouse. And we see finally at the bottom of the panel, he finds the farmhouse. He goes up to the door and knocks, and then all of a sudden he's hit with the side of a rifle and he's knocked out. And they're like, what a stupid guy, the German soldiers say. And they're like, Carl did not fail us. He must have been trapped. And before he got trapped before he could bring the doll to us. So he tricked this fool into delivering it. And then he opens up the head of the doll, and there's something hidden in there. He's like, this little doll will deal the American much death. So the Americans are sitting on an electronically controlled minefield. So after it goes up, the German infantry will attack their flanks and wipe them out. Our orders to activate the timber for the minefield were contained inside the doll's head. So that's what the little note that he took out. And while this is going on, Sergeant Rock is kind of barely conscious. And he's like, it doesn't matter. I have to stop them. So he gets up the best he can on his feet to try to stop them. He knows that he is, greatly outnumbered. So the best thing to do is to get a hold of the leader. You can hit the next page. So he has some protection as the soldiers start firing. They're surprised to learn that there's retaliation coming from the outside into the farmhouse. But the leader of the German soldiers says it's too late. The mines have been activated. And we see that Ingen came back to keep an eye on Sergeant Rock, and he's the one who was firing outside. And he says, wait here, I'll be back. So he runs as fast as he can, trying to get back to where Easy Company was. And there's a huge explosion. And when he gets back to where they were, the Easy Company is gone. And there's nothing, I mean, there's no one to see, nothing. And he's like, oh my gosh, you know. So now we can advance to the next part of the story. But all of a sudden, Bulldozer and Four Eyes, they're still alive, and they're there, and they reunite with Sergeant Rock. And he's like, there's no time for talking, you know, get set for an attack from both flanks. And so they get the message and they get set up, and it ends up turning into some hand-to-hand combat between the two. So he tells Easy Company, go get them, boys. And then yep, you're on the right page. You know, the no holds barred fight, the only referee was death. When it was over, the Easy Company limped back to where Sergeant Rock was laying. And he's like, you were sitting on a minefield. You know, why did you pull back? Who warned you? And they're like, little Sure Shot did. And then they point up to that smoke, the smoke signals, and how he actually got taught the Indian Morse code. So little Sure Shot did that and let them know what was going on with Sergeant Rock in that farmhouse. And Sergeant Rock says, little Sure Shot still in that farmhouse. I'm a mile and a half west of here. We got to get back with him. So he says, Easy Company, take off, you know, take a medic with you because you got some people that need some Band-Aids. And as they start heading into that farmhouse, the story comes to an end with Sergeant Rock laying back saying, what a war, what a war. And then we get the Make War No More logo. And that is our first story, which we wrap up. So now we will skip this story because it doesn't have Sergeant Rock in it. And then Tony, if you want to advance, and if you can tell me what page it is that I can jump to. This next story is a reprint. It's a shorter story, a reprint of Sergeant Rock's first appearance from Our Army at War, issue 81.
It is page, the print's way too small. I can't see it. 29, it looks like.
29, okay. And I'll take over that too.
27, 29, something like that.
Okay, let's see. 27, let's look at 28. Nope, it's 29. Okay, so The Rock of Easy Company. This is a reprint of 200 issues earlier with Sergeant Rock's first appearance. So we have a German soldier captain who's this big man towering over his soldiers, tells them to ready the mortar. And from the eagle cap to his big boots, the captain was not like the other men. They say he's a man of iron. And they're like, yes, an iron captain. And he orders rain iron on the enemy. Fire. So across no man's land, the thin line of Easy Company awaited this enemy attack, and the shells started pouring down like iron thunder. And when it was over, Easy Company's talking to Sergeant Rock. They said, you know, Sarge, if I had my gun set up, I would have been able to knock out, you know, the others. And he says, you better get it set up. An enemy attack is sure to follow on the heels of what just happened. They say, Sarge, you've got steel hands to handle machine guns as if it was a toy. And he says, I got this way working in a steel mill. You got to be strong to work on hot steel all day long. And at that instant, the German soldiers fire some more rounds down onto Easy Company. And they even say, Sarge, doesn't that noise bother you anymore? They say, Sarge, that noise doesn't bother you any more than if you were a rock. He says, it's no noisier than a steel mill. And the iron lid clamped tighter together, pressing the sky down on Easy Company. They got the mortars coming in, tearing the whole line apart. And he says, no hotter than melting steel. And as they continue, they say, they call him Sergeant Rocky. Sergeant Rocky, the barrage, it stopped, the lid is off. And he says, but here comes the enemy to try to screw it on again. And the German soldier captain let his men, like a great iron statue, come to life. And they've thrown a grenade and they start to advance through. But the Sarge is standing there just like a rock. And although he's one guy, essentially, he's taking on this whole barrage of German soldiers that are coming straight at him. The Iron Head reached the single man with the machine gun, swirled about him, and broke. And then they asked Sergeant Rock, because it was silent, and then across no man's land, a tank starts. They can hear the sound of a tank approaching. And he says, well, it's metal, ain't it? And I'm used to handling metal. And the Iron Captain from the German army approaching says, smash that American line, fire at them. And the ex-steel worker, Sergeant Rock, crawled out of no man's land to meet that tank. And he says, we'll see how this tank likes to digest this TNT pancake. And he gets out of the way just in time as he kind of rolls that over, and he's able to stop the whole tanker. But on his way back to his position, I'll take you back to first aid. And he says, you really must be made of rock not to have stopped one, Sergeant Rocky. And then the tank was stopped, but the Iron Man inside the tank was not stopped. So he jumps out, and they realize that, that buzzard's going to toss a potato masher at us. Dump me. And he says, I still got a clip. And he starts firing. And the sergeant's bullets are able to, it slams the potato masher back. I love how they call it that. And the German soldier, Iron Captain, comes on. Looks like I got a previous engagement. And the Iron Captain raised his weapon to try to cut down Sergeant Rocky, but it was knocked out of his hands. And then Sergeant Rocky engages in fisticuffs, hand-to-hand combat with this German soldier captain. And when the fight was over, of course, Sergeant Rocky's won. Our iron has been beaten. We are too, says the German soldiers. You defeated our captain, so we surrender. How could our captain be defeated? He was made of iron. And they say, guess he never met the Rock of Easy Company. And that is how Sergeant Rock's first appearance wrapped up.
Real quick, Sergeant Rock was actually modeled after a real person. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Audie Murphy, Medal of Honor recipient from World War II. And the reason they call him Sergeant Rock is because the guy he was inspired from, Audie Murphy, was in the 3rd Infantry Division. Mm-hmm. And their logo is called the Rock of the Marne because they held the Germans off at the Marne River. They became the Rock of the Marne. So they kind of put that in a blender, and Sergeant Rock is what what came out. But Sergeant Rock is made after or inspired by a real person. Okay,
a real person cool. In our chat that we need to say hello to is Kenneth Bird. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. So Tony's got a full-length story and another little mini story, but we want to share first this pinup that was a special bonus feature in this 200th anniversary issue of Our Army at War, issue 280. So that's a cool pinup there. Sergeant Rock and Easy Company.
Yeah, that'd be a cool poster. I'd get this as a poster. I would absolutely get it a poster. But
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, starting off here, skipping the ads. Look at that. That guy looks like he's
Oh, sorry, I took you down. Okay, no, yeah, look at that guy.
There's your Rock right there. That guy's huge. Mm-hmm. And this is the Rock and the Wall. So one thing that I noticed about Sergeant Rock books is up at the top. Do you see where it says infantry?
Yes, that's the same thing that they have on the top of every page.
Yes, and then when he goes to when he's I forget what issue it is, but that changes. When he's in different environments, it'll say infantry, armor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Air support, yeah. But you're right. This particular issue, it's all infantry through the whole way, but it's just something that I thought was kind of neat. Here we have some epic Joe Kubert art, which I really enjoy. Everyone loves Joe Kubert. And then we start off here when they are down on the ground. But what is great about this issue is they really focus on the ground combat aspect, but they they throw in some air support, which I think is very cool. But Sergeant Rock is this hero, and he's well known. And in this particular case, Sergeant Rock here he's in the foxhole. He's going through battle, and he's calling in for some support. And what's really funny about it is these pilots, it was the Army Air Corps at the time, it wasn't even the Air Force, pick up the distress signal and like, oh my gosh, it's Sergeant Rock of Easy Company. And then the Navy picks it up and like, oh my gosh, it's Sergeant Rock of Easy Company, like open fire. So Sergeant Rock is leading his men, and here comes this big ground support, which I thought was really funny. Excuse me, now my algaes are on fire. But yeah, it's Sergeant Rock here. He's with his men. The battle's kind of over. They're back in the trenches here. Here we see some German armor coming down the line here, but Sergeant Rock is leading his men to fight off the German army. I can't say. YouTube doesn't like it, but hey, there's a good indication of who these people are right here, if you can kind of see it. But that's silly. But yeah, he's setting a trap here for this armor. He's able to lay down, let the tank go over him, and pin grenades to it. So stuff like this, I can't help but giggle at it, because I spent a lot of time in the Army. I was a cavalry scout. I worked close with a lot of Army Army armor and infantry, and just 2 hand grenades are not going to do anything to armor. But it's funny. It's just really funny. It's a comic book. It is what it is. But yeah, so this tank goes over him. He lays this trap. He pretends to be dead, and the Germans just kind of move on. This hand grenades trap goes off. It disables the tank. Sergeant Rock gets up, starts going to town on these German soldiers, which I thought was pretty cool. 2 hand grenades apparently were enough to blow the entire lid off of this Panzer, which was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, those must be some intense hand grenades. It was really funny. Sergeant Rock makes his way back to his trench with the rest of Easy Company. Just in the nick of time, we see a plane come in and land. So they take their motor fire and they start running. They make it over to the airplane or the jet. I don't even know what type of jet this is supposed to be, but as you can see, they're providing a little bit of air cover here for Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. They did a really good job. I really dig the art. This is good art. It's been a while since I read this before this part. Last time I read this, I think it was like 13 or 14. It was a good read though. Suddenly, we're in the plane, and the plane is taking some damage. The gunner gets hit, so Sergeant Rock is able to jump on this or provide support for like a assistant gunner here, and they're able to take down the enemy aircraft. And then we cut back to Sergeant Rock on the ground talking about this. They were rocking. But yeah, here we are back on the ground, and he's kind of telling the story to his men, and it's a good little story. But one thing I do have to point out is every couple of pages they show his helmet. The rank on his helmet changes. I don't know if they meant to do that.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit of oversight. Just kind of silly. So right now, the rank on his helmet is a Command Sergeant Major. A couple panels before, he was a Master Sergeant, and then he was a First Sergeant again. Wow.
They've been fighting that for a while.
Yeah.
Every man's a sergeant.
Yeah, every man's a sergeant. Excuse me. Yeah, every man's a sergeant. So here we are. This is a really, really different kind of Sergeant Rock story. We go from a theater in Europe to a theater in like the South Pacific, which I thought was really, really interesting. So this particular story, obviously Sergeant Rock was inspired by a real person. Easy Company itself was inspired by the real life band of brothers, Easy Company, who were obviously very famous. And what's interesting about the real Easy Company, the Major Winters is actually from right here in Hershey, a couple miles down the road. So everyone's pretty proud of that. And I got to do his funeral when he passed. I was part of his funeral detail, just something cool.
Nice.
It was kind of fun. But yeah, Sergeant Rock here and his men are taking a defensive position. They seem to be taking some sniper fire. We're having a hard time finding this sniper. But it is a comic book, and Sergeant Rock is a hero. So they are able to quickly deduce, because of Sergeant Rock, where this guy is. So they start moving in. They take a little bit of fire. Sergeant Rock does his greatest Tarzan interpretation and does a swing on a vine and is able to drop some hand grenades down and take some guys out, which I thought was pretty cool. There are some grenades tossed back at them. They are able to cover them up with their helmet. Not a great idea, but back in the day, that's just what they did. The Japanese do a bonsai charge. They take out the Japanese. And then we cut to this is not it. But yeah, here we see at the top, like I said, we have our first change. Now we say early American. Gosh.
That's the final story. So somewhere you skipped if you're missing pages.
It is. I think it is missing pages because it ends right here.
Yeah, then that's the end.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was more to it. I must be thinking of something else.
Nope.
Cool.
So thoughts about Sergeant Rock and the stories we read together. Was this a good 200th anniversary to him?
Yes, but if I were some kind of editor or person at DC in charge, I would say, let's tell these really good stories, but like the last few pages, let's talk about the history of Sergeant Rock, the inspiration for him, the inspiration for Easy Company, just because it's something that not a lot of people know. It's just cool little trivia. It doesn't affect the story at all. But Sergeant Rock in particular, he's very popular in the U.S. Army. You go into the PX, Post Exchange, or the BX, the Base Exchange, and you'll see some Sergeant Rock stuff to this day.
Oh, wow.
I remember being a young private in the Army, and I go into the PX and was like, hey, free Sergeant Rock comic books? I grabbed a bunch of them. They unfortunately didn't survive. They lived in my backpack, or my big ruck. So in the middle of field training exercise, I got 5 minutes. I'm looking through Sergeant Rock, passing the next guy. So they got pretty beat up, but yeah, Sergeant Rock is very popular among servicemen. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Like I said, we just haven't spent a lot of time with this character, and he definitely deserves it. So, you know what I think might be kind of fun or interesting for the next time that we revisit this character? What if we did some interactions, because there has been team-ups between Sergeant Rock and superheroes.
Yes.
Like he's been in DC Comics Presents. There's a team-up story from World's Finest with him and Wonder Woman. What if we did like Sergeant Rock teaming up with the superheroes? Whenever, I don't know when the next time we feature him will be, but the next time we do that, that might be a kind of a fun idea to see how those two worlds mesh.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Wasn't he in Creature Commandos briefly?
Could have been.
Because he was with part of Easy Company in his timeline. I don't know how to explain it, but I think there's a brief Sergeant Rock cameo in Creature Commandos. I could be wrong. I don't recall. But yeah. Speaking of Sergeant Rock, are you familiar with Billy Tucci, the comic book artist?
Yes.
He did a lot of Sergeant Rock, and he was actually in the 3rd Infantry Division in his past life. So it's kind of cool that he goes from being a member of the 3rd Infantry Division to writing Sergeant Rock comics.
Yeah.
Pretty cool transition. So he did a really cool Sergeant Rock run. Trying to find the date on it, but it escapes me. But look out for Billy Tucci. I have a couple of his issues from that Sergeant Rock era. They're not signed, but they're going to be signed. I'm bringing them to Baltimore this year. So
Yeah, that's
stay tuned.
cool. Yeah, very nice. Well, we're going to move on to our book show portion of Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. I'll start out by telling you that if you want to participate at home with the book show, you're always more than welcome to. You can share a cover or anything else DC Comics oriented with us. Easiest way to do that is by using Instagram and use the hashtag Fanboys Live and the Retro Review so we're able to see it. SK, I'll go first if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
What's on my channel currently? It is a back issue of the week about Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns. So that's my current back issue of the week. And then my Lassoed Loot video, volume 298, dropped this week. I showed a autograph from Fan Expo just this last weekend by Dan Maurer. And it was, from what I hear, not an easy autograph to get. But I shared that Dan Maurer autograph on the current Lassoed Loot video. Then I shared some books that I pulled from like dollar bin books. But I think there's some fun stuff in there, including a dabbing Batgirl. And you know who inspired me to get the dabbing Batgirl?
Who?
Tim the Comic Collector.
Oh.
He was my inspiration to get dabbing Batgirl because he has dabbing Batgirl, but it took him a long time to get a dabbing Batgirl.
I have a dabbing Batgirl, and I have a dabbing Batgirl signed.
Wow.
By writer Hope Larson.
Yes, look at that. So that is my current Lassoed Loot video that's on my channel. What's coming up? There's going to be a back issue of the week tomorrow. It's going to be Marvel Comics focused, a family group title. That's just what I'll say. In all honesty, it hasn't been recorded yet. But it is coming up tomorrow morning. That's on my to-do list. And watch Lanterns tonight when the show wraps up. And then Tuesday, my Lassoed Loot video is volume 299. Well, my friend Mr. Fridge Art wanted to send me something to celebrate the fact that I'm almost at 300. So I do that unboxing in Tuesday afternoon's video. And then, not this upcoming week, but next week is Lassoed Loot 300. And I have a secret to reveal about my collection.
I'll spoil it. The secret is his collection is up for sale. Bidding starts at a quarter.
$250,000.
$250,000. Well, hey, it's still a quarter.
It is. So that's coming up, but that video is going to be big. As a matter of fact, SK, this is an aggressive goal, but I'm hoping to get 300 views on volume 300.
I think it's doable.
Yeah, and I'm good with letting it ride for a few weeks before I drop another video.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's one thing that I learned from YouTube is once you have video kind of take off a little bit, don't upload another one.
Yep. Let it do its thing. So for a book show, this is the only Sergeant Rock comic book that I have of his own title that's in my collection. And I pulled this a few years back from a Michael Ackery Bronze Age only mystery box. It's a good story and it's fun and it's got some bright colors on there too. But that is my only titled Sergeant Rock book that's in my collection as of right now. And that is issue 332.
Very cool. Very cool.
How many subscribers do you have right now?
We're kind of hovering around 21,000.5, so about 21,500 and some change. I got a couple things I wanted to do, but the problem that I've had, and I said 100 times, is like it's hard for me to like do stuff just because I don't know. Maybe I have some sort of perfectionist disease. I don't know, but coming up on the channel, we'll see. I got Baltimore Comic Con coming up. I'm with Mike the Sig Slayers next Friday night. I forget the topic, but tune in. Who is another finalist?
Yeah.
In the influencer tier. So hats off to him. Again, I'm going to encourage all of you to go out and vote in the Comic Book Community Awards because there's just so many great creators. I can't publicly endorse one or the other. They're all wonderful.
But vote for us.
Both vote for us. Yeah.
Yes.
And me and Magic Lasso.
Yes.
Definitely vote for those three. The rest.
And once again, there is a link to the voting in the description for this video, and you have until September 19th of 2026 to vote.
Yes. But yeah, check out me and Mike on the Six Layers next Friday. There's going to be some Baltimore Comic-Con stuff coming up. I might do a few live streams as I look through my giant pile of comics to start pulling some issues. I was able to free up one of the, if you look at my previous, yeah, right? Soon will be Hall of Famer, right? I'm just going to get a pin for that. If you look at my room tour video, we talked about one of the back bedrooms. There's a bedroom down here that nobody uses. It's just spare. I had some stuff in there. I got rid of the stuff. So now I have a giant empty spare bedroom. I don't think I'm going to put comic books in there just because I like to see my stuff. I think I'm going to move some of the spare file cabinets I have laying around in there and maybe expand my homemade comic book storage. Look for that middle of September sometime, depending if I can get around to it. But in terms of a book show, so I'm submitting 3 books to PSA. I have one kind of there now, but it takes a long time. But I know obviously everything's going to be authenticated, and I'm very confident they're going to not have a problem with authenticating the book that I had already sent. So I am going to submit 3 books that I think are going to really push them to authenticate. And I'll show those 3 books right here. So the first one is the Resident Evil comic that came with when you pre-ordered the game back in, was it 98, 96, something like that. So this is the first. And this book by itself is very hard to get. And I managed to get 2 of the voice actors that were in the game, Kevin Smith, who played Barry Burton, and Charlie, I can never say his last name, Gavroski, who played Chris Redfield. So that's going. Number 2, this one is going to be a little tricky as well. Toxic Avenger, signed by the original Toxic Avenger cast, Mitch Cohen, Mark Trogley, Jennifer Baps, Robert Pritchard, Gary Snyder, and Sidney Minion. Fun fact about Mitch Cohen, this was his first ever convention and signing appearance, and I was there. And that took place in March of this year. And this is the book that I think they're really going to struggle to authenticate. I know it's real. I know 100% it's real. And I know someone else in this chat, there's a moth over here, who knows it's 100% real, and that would be Magic Lasso.
So you're so nice.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for a CBCS Ryan McCall and a PSA Ryan McCall. I'm going for it.
I don't even have that.
You don't have this one?
No, I had the book, but I don't have it authenticated by them.
You should. You should.
I should.
Well, because why not?
Yeah.
They would make really cool giveaways.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. Current turnaround time on these is like 4.5 months.
Wow.
So this could be content for next year.
But,
I'm definitely going to get all 3 of these sent in, and I will report back to you hopefully before the end of the year.
Okay. Look forward to it. That's awesome. If for some odd reason you're not subscribed to Signature King, there's links in the description for this video as well. Also, Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe and some of our previous fanboys as well. You can get into their YouTube channels and sub everyone up in the chat as well. Alan, I saw your question. Joel the Geek is who I would talk to because he's from that area.
Oh, yeah, he lives in.
But John of John's Comics with Friends was just up in that area too. So John might have some good recommendations because he was just there in the last few weeks. So, yeah. Next week, we have a nominee for the CBCAs going to join us. Pretty quiet guy that's takes a lot to get him to share. But Cliff on Comics is going to be here.
Oh, yeah,
So,
super quiet guy. Yeah,
Yes.
get that guy to
Never has
to
an
talk.
opinion on
Never.
anything.
Nothing.
So he's going to be our special guest next week. I'm not sure what he's going to pick, but I look forward to it. Thank you so much for watching the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Once again, link to vote on the CBCAs in the description for this video. Have a happy, healthy, and safe week, and we'll see you next week.